Hello, today we will talk about the culture shock between Japan and Mexico. The members of the group are Jessica Padilla, Angie Petepa, and Jonathan Mendez. Location: Japan is located in the continent of Asia and Mexico in America. According to Japan location, people are trained to deal with earthquakes, while Mexicans are less trained. Food: if you want to taste spicy food, you should travel to Mexico. If you like seafood, you should go to Japan. In Japan, chopsticks are used to eat food. In Mexico are used cutlery. If you go to a Japanese restaurant, there are too many dishes containing raw food. Mexican food isn't characterized by this. Greetings. The usual greeting in Mexico is a handshake. But if there is no trust between people or there are women, the greeting is done with a kiss on the cheek. The customary greeting in Japan is a slight bow of the head. Hands should be placed at the sides of the body in the case of men, and clasped in front in the case of women. Customs: Japanese people are so clean that you don't see garbage on the street. In Mexico, although there are no garbage queens, there is garbage in the street. Tipping in Japan is too rude because attention is part of the service. In the case of Mexico, tipping has become a tradition as a token of appreciation. In Japan, when you turn 20 years old, you are of legal age, while in Mexico it is until the age of 18. In Japan, if you want to smoke, you must do it in established place. If people smoke in the streets, they generate a fine. In Mexico, there is more freedom to smoke.
Japan is recognized for being a safe country from robbers. In Mexico, there is more insecurity and theft. In Japan, if you keep the noise, is soap is not thrown open. In Mexico, if you keep the soap are the rip. In Japan, there are too strict about tattoos. If you have tattoos, you can enter swinging bonus because they are associated with organized crime. In Mexico, tattoos are not problem. If you visit house, business, or hotel, you must take off shoes at the enter and boot new ones. While in Mexico, you should not remove your shoes. In Japan, celebrated Christmas in a more classic way. In Mexico, Christmas is celebrated in folkloric way. In Japan, is not a word. They level the car in public space. It must be left in parking lots or inside the house. In Mexico, there are public space allowed for. Christmas in Mexico is safe with the family. In the case of Japan, it's a celebration from romantic days. In Japan, is no Catholic of Christmas. Population the is why the only week. In Mexico, Semana Santa is celebration in honor of the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Japan are such disciplined people, but in Mexico people are too relaxed.
Japanese are such respected people that they avoid using cell phone in the subway and problem please. In Mexico, talking on the cell phone or sharing on public transportation is commonplace. The Japanese are such punctual people. For this, you should arrive 5 minutes early. In Mexico, people are too likely to be unpunctual, and Japanese are so orderly, quiet, and patient to wait in line. Mexican are patient to wait in line. Japanese people speak too softly when they walk on the street, while Mexican are so expressive. Language and currency. The language used in Mexico is Spanish. In Japan, the most common language is Japanese. The current use in Mexico is the Mexican peso. The current use in Japan is the yen. And challenge reading in Mexico there are people in charge the schools. In Japan the children tell where that to clean the schools. In from the age of 5 to 15 in Japan you were know that to be self-oriented you will not serve in society as a person. In Mexico, if women did not raise such macho men, their work not be so much femicide. If in Japan you were not taught to work in a team in the future, or will have